Today we're going to replace the lens on a GoPro Hero 2. This one has a large scratch on the lens that makes it pretty unusable. The replacement lenses are usually less than $10, so it's worth fixing, especially because the GoPro Hero 2 is still pretty relevant. So even right now, when I try to clean off the lens, there's a white spot over my face that makes it blurry. And the only way of getting rid of that scratch on the lens is by replacing it. GoPros hold their value pretty well, so it's a good idea to repair them if possible. Take out the SD card, the back panel, and the battery, and then there are 4 screws. Make sure to keep all your screws organized. They are different sizes. There is a sticker that is stuck to the metal heatsink of the motherboard. Pull that sticker up and the back plastic will pull away from the GoPro. Don't pull it too far though, it is still connected by the microphone wires and the ribbon cable. There are 3 more screws to remove before we have access to the lens, 2 on each of these corners and then 1 more on the other side as well. Then the front housing will pull away. Be gentle with that LCD when pulling it off. Don't put any stress on anything or it will break. Now the lens itself is glued into the housing. I'm going to use a little heat to help soften the glue and then some pliers. You'll hear the seal break and there are a lot of threads down there, so you'll be twisting for quite a while, but it'll finally come out. When the lens is finally off, make sure there is no dust or anything on the image sensor below it. This is important. That sensor is very fragile, so if there is any dust on it like mine, use a soft cotton Q-tip and let the frizz from the tip of the Q-tip pick up the dust. Don't use any pressure. Now that the sensor is clean and there is no dust on my replacement lens, I can screw it into place. Remember, I will link all of the replacement lenses and tools down in the video description below. Make sure you screw the lens in correctly and don't cross-thread any of these little threads. The lens is very tight during the screw-in process, so I doubt it'll ever shift on its own. But if you are worried about it, you can always put some Loctite on the threads to help hold it in place. Just don't use very much or it might goop down onto the sensor. I'm going to go ahead and line up the battery under the GoPro so I can turn it on. I am using the HDMI output on the Hero 2 to watch what I am doing on my monitor, so I can see when the lens is in focus. Is this the safest, most kosher way of doing this? Probably not, but it works. As I screw and unscrew the lens, it will go in and out of focus. So once you find that perfect sweet spot where everything is in focus, you are set. Reassembling the camera is pretty simple. Make sure to line up the LCD correctly into that front housing and not put any pressure on it when you set it in place. Get those 3 screws into place and then you can set the rear housing on top with its 4 screws. Be careful with those microphone wires and ribbon cable. Don't pinch them anywhere. Alright, and this is what it looks like with the finished lens in place. There is no scratch mark or blur anymore on the lens. And this will work if your lens is cracked or shattered or anything like that. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Don't forget to like if this video helped you, and subscribe. And if you have a second, check out some of these other videos that I've shot using a GoPro. Thanks for watching.